When an alien dies, does it become a ghost? If honey comes from bees, where do bees come from? All of these questions you can find the answer to on This Paranormal Life! Hey! Yo! Welcome everyone to This Paranormal Life, the comedy paranormal podcast where every week, myself and my co-investigator, Kit Greer, investigate a brand new paranormal story and come to the conclusion, typically within the hour, as to whether or not it is truly paranormal. We have decades of experience behind us, and we leave no piece of evidence untouched. We're thorough, we are dedicated, and we're excited to be coming at you this Tuesday with an absolute banger of a story.
That's right, we don't leave any, well, there's actually a couple of lawsuits ongoing because we were hired for a couple of jobs and we did drop the ball on the 94 case. Other than that
was a tight deadline.
Never dropped the ball. Never. Every piece of evidence. We got the microscope set. Actually, that time we did a case closed. We said it was an absolute double no. There's no way. But then actually there was a kid was walking his dog and he found the alien corpse.
I forgot about that.
In the field. Yeah. So, everyone's got a spotty Yelp record.
That's true. But there was also the case in 2004.
Really?
That wasn't even paranormal. I think that was like car theft. I don't know how we got involved with that one, but I think our conclusion was the car wasn't real, which was obviously not true.
Yeah, I think I browned out that night, and that was my defense in court.
Stole it.
Didn't work either. So
of course.
And that's actually all the cases we've ever investigated.
Yeah, but we're gonna wipe the slate clean, all right? Because we got a case so spicy, so interesting that it blew my mind that we'd never even heard of it before.
All right, I'm intrigued.
We got an email sent in to thisparanormallifepodcast@gmail.com from Tracer. Big fan of you in Overwatch, Tracer.
Hell yeah.
The email said, "Have you heard of this? My God, it's rife with paranormal adventure." The subject of the email was simply the Mooncave.
Okay, you got me. That's a nice combination of words right there.
I'd never heard of this before.
No.
It does sound like the name for a top secret government operation, Mooncave.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, I investigated. And I discovered something huge, Kit. Let's jump into the story. The year is 1944. And we're in the Tatra Mountains in Slovakia during the National Uprising, a time where Nazi soldiers were occupying Slovakia, patrolling the wilderness and hunting down anyone that opposed them. In the middle of this turmoil, military commander Antonin Horak and his resistance group were locked in a heated skirmish in the Slovakian wilderness. Gunshots and battle cries rang out from both sides as the Slovakian resistance movement fired against the Nazi forces.
Commander Horak, the Nazis are advancing. We cannot hold much longer.
Hold your ground, Peter. Return the fire.
But Horak, I don't think we can... Oh!
Peter, no! Nazi gunfire rained down on Horak's unit, hitting Peter and the rest of the resistance. Horak, going beast mode, picked up a second rifle from the ground and stormed forward, tears in his eyes, until he was shot. Horak dropped to the ground, joining the rest of his unit on the cold forest floor.
Rest in peace, brother.
Then he woke. Horak looked around to find himself still in the woods, surrounded by his fallen comrades. But when he glanced down, he noticed that his wounds had been dressed. In fact, 2 other soldiers in his unit had also survived, and both of their wounds had been dressed too. It turns out that in the aftermath of the battle, 2 local villagers had searched the field for survivors, looking to save anyone that was still breathing.
It's got to have been an emotional roller coaster. Like, you go from, pretty much thinking you're getting rained down with gunfire. You're pretty much thinking the worst of humanity. But then you're saved by these strangers. It's got to restore some faith in humanity right there.
When you're charging at the Nazis with 2 guns, tears in your eyes, that's your last thing you're going to do. You're not going to live to see another day. So you're just happy to be alive, let alone have your wounds dressed.
God damn.
This is a problem with this situation is if you're going to have a big final moment in war, you gotta make sure you are gonna die in the end. Because if he turned to Peter and been like, look, it's the last chance I'm ever gonna tell you this. I'm actually pretty into your sister. And then you all get he's like, what? And you all get shot.
Right.
Because you wanted to get it off your chest.
Right.
If you kind of come to wounds dressed and Peter is just standing over you.
He's like, my sister?
Really, buddy?
Really? After everything we've been through together.
I think I'm actually bleeding out, dude.
No, you better be bleeding out because I'm going to make you bleed out if you touch my sister.
You want me to die and we're bitter and you feel you're angry at me? You want me to... I'm going.
Can I just ask where you would plan on taking my sister on a date?
I was going to be a gentleman. I think I'm bleeding out here.
Okay.
Just a little.
I'm listening. I mean, if this sounds good, I'll get the medic.
Before I was going to take her to the ball.
Sure.
The ball, Peter.
Okay,
we were going to dance.
What ball? Is this one of those CD balls where the little touching and grabbing?
Gentleman's ball.
Okay, a
And
gentleman's
I'd graze her cheek with my tender.
Watch where you're grazing, all right? All right?
You better say I forgive you before I pass on, Peter. You better say it. Better say that you forgive me and that I'm actually pretty cool.
I don't know if I can do that. Buddy.
You better actually give me permission to date your sister.
You're dying. Why do you need permission?
Just in case I make it, dude. Can you imagine if you were just like, all right, fine. If you make it out of this alive, you can date my sister. Just stands up perfectly. Thanks, bro. I'm going to call it right now. Just like storms off into the woods.
Wipes the fake blood capsules off him.
The villagers picked up Horak using makeshift stretchers and began carrying him away into the woods. Using the last of his strength, he asked, "Where are you taking me?"
"To a cave," replied the man. "It's a secret place."
"Is there no hospitals? Why are you taking me to a cave?"
"Quiet now. Rest up, soldier."
They hit him over the head with a branch. "I'm going to take your kidneys." Wait, did I say that bit out loud?
"The three of you will be able to hide and recover there."
But as they approached their destination, Horak knew this was no ordinary cave. Something was different. The color of the rocks, the temperature inside, it was strange. Once the men reached their destination, the villager said,
"You'll be safe here. Not even the Nazis know about this place. But I warn you, do not wander deeper into this cave. The recesses of this ancient place are littered with sudden drops, dangerous cliff sides, poisonous gas pockets, and some villagers even...
Why the did you take me here? Poisonous gas? I just got off the battlefield, bro. You don't think I need more chlorine gas?
There must have been a better place to go.
Leave me in the fields. The Nazis are gone.
If you escape death by an inch, you don't want to be taken to a poisonous gas cave that is possibly haunted by ghosts. That's what hell is. That's what dying is.
Do not so much as look deeper into the cave, or spikes will come out of the walls.
I'll take my chances. I'm going to take my chances actually back in the battlefield. I'm going to maybe see if a wolf will drag me to a better cave. Hopefully. The men agreed, but the strange glow of the cave walls and alluring darkness called Horak deeper. He had no intention of keeping his promise.
What? We gotta cut him some slack.
You haven't seen this cave, dude. It is glowing.
Okay.
Like it's the most beautiful alluring. It is like a siren's call.
You know that there's like noises, weird noises bouncing all over the caves. It's like practically whispering like, come deeper, come deeper, come deeper.
This is like when you're stumbling home drunk, 3 a.m., and you can just about make out the blurry golden arches of a McDonald's in the distance.
Say no more, bro.
You're drawn to it.
Yeah.
People are like, it's a bad place. Their chicken nuggets are made from beaks and shit.
The McFlurry machine has been off for days.
And you're like, F off, old man.
I'll take my chances.
There's poisonous gas in the Happy Meals. You just push them out of the way. Go meet Ronald.
I have to get the Hamburglar collectible toy!
The next morning, the chief villager, Slavek, told the three soldiers,
I have to return to the village, but you'll be safe here. I'll return later with some supplies.
Okay, don't worry about it. Take your time. We'll be here, just relaxing. As the leader left the cave, Horak began to gather his belongings.
Psst. Hey, Horak, where are you going?
Horak told his fellow soldier that he was going for a walk around the cave, before reciting the traditional Slovakian saying, "Snitches get stitches."
That can't be right.
It goes back, it does.
Right.
As Horak hobbled deeper into the cave, he's still pretty f***ed up at this point. He was shot like 8 hours ago, so he's still hobbling. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Instead of regular rock, the walls of this cave had strange mirror-like sheen to them.
Whoa.
As if it was entirely made of glass. It wasn't long before he discovered a vent-like hole big enough for him to shimmy through, Die Hard style. But just like John McClane's Christmas party at Nakatomi Plaza, things were about to get out of control. Horak slid through the small vent to discover a huge cylindrical object set within the rock. It was dark, metallic, and completely smooth like the walls of the cave, but carved into the sides were strange symbols that looked almost like hieroglyphics.
He's hit the gas pockets, my friend. He doesn't know what he's seeing.
You went too far. Without thinking, Horak struck the object with his pickaxe, Fortnite style. A loud boom rung out in the cave, implying that the object was hollow inside. Curiously, even with the hardest hit he could manage, he couldn't even scratch it.
Wow.
Pretty weird, huh?
Yeah. This is very trippy because, as you said, we don't know where his mind is at. Like, we don't know if he's died and is in some kind of up purgatory.
Yeah.
Or if he's still alive but seeing things.
Yeah, I mean, he's been shot. He's traveled through a weird cave in the dark, probably through a couple poisonous gas clouds at this point. He could be very delirious. But there is a bit of a backstory here. The villagers already warning him about this cave, that something's not right here.
Yeah.
And then he stumbles across this.
It does make me think about the local villagers' tactics for getting people to stay out of the caves. I don't know if they have regular visitors, but their tactic for getting people to not go in, which was very honest, hasn't worked at all.
Yeah.
Turns out telling people, do not dare take another step deeper into this cave, actually just makes everyone want to go further in immediately.
Yeah, I guess the only thing is, maybe this cave is so goddamn alluring that anything you say about it is still not enough.
Yeah, I mean, it seems hard for us to imagine that because I've never seen a cave with walls that shiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could imagine, you go to a hotel spa and one of the workers there, the bartender, perhaps, he's like, can I get you a drink or anything? Please take a look around. You want a massage? Just so you know, hot tub is out of order. Looks great, but it's actually pumping out acid.
Yeah.
So don't just ignore the hot tub.
Yeah. It's a great temperature. It is very relaxing, but it does occasionally emit a snake that goes up your asshole.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't want to do that.
But that hot tub just looks fantastic, and
Primo.
you just got served a mojito, and so you want to drink the mojito in the hot tub.
Of course. Are those some hieroglyphics on the side of this bad boy? I think that's Egyptian for jet powered.
Let me try and read it from underwater.
You can't say no to something like this. It's that beautiful of a cave.
The hot tub is just teeming with ancient snakes. It looks borderline relaxing, though.
Horak would return to the object over the following days whenever he got the chance, eventually using belts and rope to climb down on top of the object and slide through a diamond-shaped crack at the top. The inside was shaped like a crescent moon and was covered in what looked like clay and limestone. Horak said that all sounds inside the chamber were unnaturally amplified. So naturally, he fired his gun at the wall to see what would happen.
Shush.
Look, sometimes you just gotta go back to the olden days experiments, which is firing a gun at something that you don't know what it is.
I guess, the problem here is that we had no scientists on hand. We had a soldier of fortune. That was the only guy who was ever going to make it this deep in the cave. This is a kind of Indiana Jones, fly by the seat of his ass kind of character.
I've been saying this for years, that more scientific experiments should be basically started with just firing a bullet at the object.
Just like a cowboy just unloads 6 shots.
Like
into
McCree's
the
dead
atmosphere.
eye, just picking it out. Yeah. The scientist that tries that isn't going to be allowed in any more labs.
That's the problem. You only get those 6 shots before someone takes your gun away forever.
That's why it hasn't happened.
And you're on a list. You can never own a gun again in any country.
And even if you're on a list with a team of other gun-carrying scientists, that's not a list you want to be on. If they're like, "Hey, we're opening up our own lab," you don't want to go in that lab. It's a cowboy saloon.
Hey guy, you're at the bar drinking tequila. When do we start doing experiments?
Oh yeah, forgot. All right.
A guy in a bathtub falls through the roof.
When the bullet hit the wall, green sparks and smoke shot out like something from a sci-fi movie.
God damn.
As he slowly walked around the interior of the crescent moon-shaped object, he heard a crunch under his foot. When he looked down, he saw bones.
Oh no.
The bones of a huge creature. It looked like it was the remains of a large type of bear named the cave bear. But even in 1944, this creature had been extinct for about 24,000 years.
Holy damn.
How long had this cave been untouched? How did these bones survive for so long? What the f*** is a bear doing inside a UFO? Afraid that someone else would discover this chamber, Horak carefully concealed the vent that led into it so no one else could find the entrance. But lucky for us, he sketched out what the entrance looked like and also some details about the chamber itself.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now, these illustrations come straight from the World War II diary of Horak himself.
Horak's real?
Yeah, this motherfucker is real. He is like a whole... Well...
I thought all this was made up.
No, all of this is taken from Horak's actual World War II diaries. So even these illustrations that I'm showing you are from the diary itself. So take a look at these, kid. Tell me what you think.
Okay, so I'm taking a look at Horak's diary. Right off the bat, the pages are a very satisfying yellow, which
it's a good sign.
Lets you know this is a very old document. So right off the bat, on the top image here, it looks like I'm looking at a cave entrance. Looks immediately like a kind of generic, scary cave entrance.
Yeah.
I'll say. Kind of jagged rock teeth lining the top, and then a dark abyss right in the middle. And then, am I right in saying this bottom diagram, we're kind of looking at more of like a map of what's inside the cave? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It's kind of a hard thing to describe and to imagine because it is basically a crack you can shimmy through that brings you into a bigger chamber. But even this, what he's calling a craft that's inside there, seems to pretty much almost appear like it's part of the cave itself.
Right.
Like he says himself, it seems like it's made out of the same material that the cave is as well.
Weird.
It's almost like, yeah, it's like built into the mountain, or it's been there for so long that it's been like sealed in the rock.
Right, the rock is formed around it. It's a little bit like a case we discussed in the Baltic Sea, where there was a alleged UFO found on the seabed. And I don't know if you remember, but they sent a dive team down to test it, and it turned out it was 100% rock.
Right, I do remember this.
So the only paranormal explanation was that it had been there for so long, it had become rock.
Yeah, which I think there was always going to be a paranormal explanation. If they'd done a scan and it turned out to be 100% fish, they probably would have said, it's been down there so long, it's fish now.
It's fish now.
Yeah. This is insane. The craft itself has become a salmon. He's eating it for dinner. Marvelous. Incredible. From another universe.
It's the best salmon I've ever tasted.
Yeah, there was always going to be a paranormal explanation. And I think this is why this case is interesting, because I think there's enough stuff from these diaries to make it feel like this is paranormal, not just part of the cave itself. The fact that shooting the walls creates green smoke and sparks, that there are strange markings on the inside of this craft. It's almost as if whatever this thing is has been sealed in the cave walls like Han Solo in Star Wars in that weird metal that they seal people in like special Pokemon cards.
And disturbingly, we had that footnote about the fact that there was a 24,000-year-old cave bear buried somewhere near this.
don't hold on.
So
to
this
that.
craft,
no, I don't.
If that's what we are going to call it today,
That's just like a minor
at
thing.
least 20,000 years old.
Are we right to assume the bear himself was piloting this craft?
Are bears aliens?
Who knows? Some people think jellyfish came from another planet.
It's true.
I'm not sure what the justification behind that is. I think it's something along the lines of their genetic makeup is so unique to every other creature on Earth that they're like, no, it's from space. It's goo. There's nothing else like this.
It's
worms,
goo that
maybe.
lives. Yeah.
This is my like lecture at Harvard. I don't know how I got this, but I'm just up here with a picture of a jellyfish on a PowerPoint. Are you kidding me? It's fucking goo, guys.
Halfway through the lecture, the professor that you knocked out and took his outfit stumbles onto the stage.
That's him, security.
In his underwear.
I don't believe this. Are you seeing this, guys? Big Jelly is trying to take down the whistleblower.
In his underwear, like, they're not made of jelly. It's a very complex biological organism.
It's too late. I've turned the crowd. Jelly, jelly, jelly. Rise, my sea monsters.
Bow to our jelly lords. You're in a suit that's 5 sizes too big for you. The fucking sleeves are all like over your arms. It's goo.
The suit is also dripping wet because I've obviously come straight from the aquarium where I jumped in the tank and tried to wrestle a jellyfish. Now, Horak was eventually rescued, but the thoughts of that strange place he referred to as the Mooncave would stick with him for years. It wasn't until 1965 that he published an article about the Mooncave and everything he saw, inspiring adventurers from all over the world to try and hunt it down. I guess the bar for submitting articles was a little lower back then. That if you just showed up and you were like, hey, I saw a weird cave in the mountains once. It's like, cool. Is it like 3,000 words long? Awesome.
They're like, we don't want to hear from it. He's like, excuse me, I am a veteran. They're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Let him say what he wants.
Whatever. It's easier if you just let him say what he wants.
The craft was 20 feet wide. Oh,
Me.
The bear, 30. Oh, Jesus. In fact, Horak was even interviewed by Dr. J. Allen Hynek. If that name sounds familiar to you, it should be. Dr. J. Allen Hynek has popped up in dozens, if not more, of our previous investigations, as of course, one of the leaders of Project Blue Book.
Wow, we just cannot escape this guy. He just hoovers up all the paranormal tales.
Having a paranormal story that mentions Dr. J. Allen Hynek is like getting that Nintendo quality seal of approval.
Do Nintendo even do that anymore?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they gave up. Well, we've got the Project Blue Book seal of approval.
Interesting.
I'm hoping that people who are listening to this podcast already know what Project Blue Book is about because we've talked about it a lot in the past. But the brief synopsis is that it was a government secret operation to investigate specifically UFOs. Which is strange, Kit. Why would a government operation that specifically investigates UFOs be interested in a mysterious cave? Very strange.
What do they know that we don't? They think it's plausible, indeed possible, that some UFO artifacts might have ended up in a cave in Europe.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that when this information went public, this was the organization that was designated to investigate this. Very interesting.
Super interesting.
Because it could have been, I don't really know a lot about it, a lot of other secret departments, but they gotta have one on caves. Caves are pretty friggin' weird. They're pretty dark and spooky, and bats live in them.
Tricky toss-up, isn't it? Because you got either like the Forest Service,
yeah,
or Project Blue Book fighting over the same case.
Yeah. It'd be great if the Forest Service were like, look, technically, guys, it's in a forest. It's our jurisdiction. We're going to take it from here. They walk in like 20 feet and there's like a little huddle of alien greys with guns. Never mind. You guys, this is actually pretty weird to find in a forest. I'd feel much more comfortable if you guys take this one.
Like, we'll go back to what we know. Looking after trees. They go to like cut some branches off a tree. The tree just gets up and like runs away like an Ent from Lord of the Rings.
When did this forest get so weird? This used to be a simple job.
I didn't graduate college. I'm not equipped for this.
So what did Horak find out in that strange wilderness? There are a couple popular theories online, and I thought we could go through a few of them to try and get an idea as we head towards our conclusion as to what this could possibly be.
Let's go.
The first theory is this the work of an ancient alien civilization? Now, this cave is too old and too massive to be made by humans, not even considering that the walls are made of magic and can shoot green sparks. Paranormal enthusiasts believe it could possibly be a huge lens that amplifies cosmic energy out into space. Or possibly, as we discussed, that the strange chamber contains the remains of an alien ship.
I like that we're starting off hot. We're going in straight to the really wild paranormal explanations here.
Yeah, I mean, they're only going to get wilder as well, so this is actually pretty tepid.
I do love that idea. Places on this earth having bizarre and so far unknown kind of extraterrestrial relevance to the universe.
Yeah.
That there could be some cave out there that's made of some specific material that aliens know of.
Yeah.
That if aliens came to Earth today, they wouldn't land in Times Square because they wouldn't care about that. They'd be like, no, we're going to go where the Flagrabmamite cave is.
Right, yeah.
Every planet in this solar system has a Flagrabmamite cave.
Yeah.
And that's where all knowledge in the solar system is located.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you think we're going to land somewhere else and max out our bunk chongos? You clown. They still say clown in the alien galaxies. Well, you got to keep your bunk chongos low. You're going to go to a place like this where the cosmic energy is basically being beamed to space. This is their airport.
Hell yeah.
Alternatively, if we're saying that this is the remnants of an alien craft, was this cave caused by an alien ship smashing into the Earth, just injecting a tunnel into the core where it eventually stopped, lining the walls with space fuel and creating this beautiful mirror-like cave system.
It's interesting to think of these kind of geological hints of astronomical events. And I have heard previously of there being layered around the Earth in different locations, some kind of like shock crystal or diamond, these kind of objects with a crystal structure that only occur where maybe a nuclear blast has taken place or where a meteorite crashed with Earth and the literal Earth itself was smooshed into specific crystal forms. And when scientists see these, they go, okay, holy crap, something massive has happened here.
Right, that's quite interesting.
Maybe this cave is something like that. This is something that would never happen without extraterrestrial intervention.
Yeah, it's basically like showing up to a crime scene, but the crime was against Mother Earth, looking at the remnants of what happened and drawing a conclusion as to how it ended up like this. It's kind of like, when you see like huge lakes or caverns, and there's many of them where people can be like, this is because essentially a meteorite smashed into the Earth, and that's why there's this huge dent that's been filled up with water, which is crazy. I do like this theory. I like it a lot. But we do have others to entertain. One of the other options is that possibly what the village elder said was true. Was this cave just straight up haunted? Created not through alien technology, but by paranormal means. Spells, curses, crushing up frogs and beetles and friggin' newt eyes in a cauldron and drinking it down like an iced latte.
Okay, I can't think of any reasons we've come across so far why that might be the case. But hey, I like it. Witches and wizards are involved. I'm there.
Yeah, this is saying that it wasn't created artificially. That possibly this is the cause of something more supernatural. Those hieroglyphics carved in the walls could have been, spells. It could have been, wizardry or something involved in the creation of these mirror walls. It's a weird cave. That's all I'm saying. But moving on to our final possibility, the one that I've saved for last. And for a good reason, Kit. Is this possibly an entrance to the underground world of Agartha, known as the Hollow Earth? Look, I know I can get sort of carried away when I start talking about the Hollow Earth. Sure, I'll be the first person to admit that. But do you really think that it's a coincidence that Horak ran into Nazi forces so close to the cave itself?
This is you on the dock defending yourself in court. Like, we didn't ask about Agartha, whatever the that is.
We've looked into the Hollow Earth, not extensively enough, I believe, on this podcast.
I think extensively enough.
Merely
absolutely
several times enough. Without ever doing a full investigation into it itself.
And I think without ever coming down on a yes as well.
Well, there's been some resistance from parties involved in whether or not it does exist, whether or not it's real, not real, whether or not Hitler was hidden away in the Hollow Earth where people can live up to 400 years old. That's right, buddy.
I don't know if even you gave that a yes.
I'm just saying, isn't it a little strange that the Nazis were in an area? Yes, of course, there was definitely political and regional reasons why they were at this exact location in the world. It actually makes a ton of sense. But it's also pretty coincidental that they were treading right around the corner from possibly an entrance to Agartha, the Hollow Earth. Especially when we know from previous episodes that they went all the way to Antarctica to hunt for an entrance to the Hollow Earth.
Interesting. So how many entrances are there to the Hollow Earth? Do we know this?
Classified.
You could just say if you don't know.
I am not at liberty to say. I plead the fifth. I refuse. I also don't know.
Sure. Okay.
I should have led with that maybe at the start. Well, Antarctica is one. That's like the main one that people talk about underneath the ice.
Makes sense.
There's the you can go submerge underneath the ice and reach a hidden entrance. I believe there's also one maybe in New Mexico where there is a very intricate cave system that we've talked about before, where it's believed that possibly ancient aliens used the underground cave system to hide from geological events.
I remember that cave system.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
They were
that
like
one's real.
They were like ant people, I think, or ents, or called something like that, referred to. And then you have cases like this, where it's a strange cave or a weird cavern that people really don't know how it exists or what it's made of. And if it's a big hole that goes into the earth and it fucking glows like a disco ball, then yeah, it probably leads to Agartha, the ancient world.
Why does it need to glow like a disco ball? Aren't they trying to keep themselves quiet down there?
Agartha is like a Vegas club. It is a non-stop party. They don't have a sun. It's inside. It's constant nighttime. They want to. Well, they don't want to get people in. They actually very much want to keep people away.
Good point.
But it's like a prehistoric party with ancient humans. It's like the Vegas Strip getting into this place.
It's kind of funny to think that, like, yes, they need to keep people out so that their community is safe. But they also need to keep their people in. And by doing that, they need to make it a pretty dope, fun place to be.
Yeah.
So there are strip malls. There are casinos. It is a 24/7 party so that no one ever needs to leave.
I have you can actually look up our artistic interpretations of what Agartha looks like. It's wild. I would definitely recommend it. It's bonkers. It's so strange. We're going to have to do an episode on it eventually, because there's like full-on maps of what is in the inside of the Earth.
It's so absurd.
It's wild.
So you've been there, you've seen it, you've got the map.
It's basically a theme park drawing where it's like, here's a little mountain, then there's the lazy river over here on the, I don't know, right on the flip side of China. It's very bizarre. We'll have to do something on it. But it is one of just many options that we have to consider today in this case. Now, I will say, the other side of the coin here, caves are wild. There's ice caves, crystal caves. There's a cave in New Zealand where there's so many glowworms on the ceiling, it looks like you're in space. I did some Googling into caves, and there's some pretty crazy ones out there that very much exist within the confines of our reality without having been built by an ancient alien. We also need to take into consideration that Horak, if he did exist and these diaries are true, he was shot a day earlier. He could be delirious from poisonous gas. He could have borderline been looking at his dirty reflection in a cave puddle and gone, the prehistoric bear, she lives today.
I see the secrets of the universe. And also there are, undiscovered man-made mysteries to this Earth. I posted not that long ago in the This Paranormal Life Facebook page with a link to a story that basically like a farmer, I believe, in rural China wanted to drain like a swamp bit of his land.
Yeah.
And accidentally discovered an ancient underground network of kind of ancient Egyptian level Chinese caves with huge hieroglyphics and statues hundreds of feet under the ground. And how the don't we know about these?
That's insane.
How haven't we discovered all of those things? But they're there.
This is what kind of gives me a little bit of hope and gets me excited, because we feel like there's like that saying that we're the generation that was kind of born too late to explore the Earth, too early to explore the stars.
That's right.
It's like a miserable existence where we're all trapped here and there's nothing new to do. So I get inspired when I hear about these stories where it's like, hey, under your feet right now could basically be an entire cave system built by an ancient civilization that no one has even checked for yet. It's crazy.
It's fascinating.
We need to just start digging more places randomly.
Yeah, I noticed
just
you
digging
actually
holes.
You started in my garden. I felt that was a weird place to start.
Correction.
You didn't.
I started in your kitchen.
You what?
Yeah. I tried to make headway right in the freaking behind your sink.
Oh my God. We haven't had running water for days. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I have been able to bathe. I've been drinking nothing but Coca-Cola for days.
I tried to kind of like break through your hardwood floor.
Right.
But it turned out underneath your hardwood floor was actually really hard cement as well.
Yeah, that's called foundations, bud.
Yeah. Under that, though, rock.
Yeah.
Sure. Under that, though,
how deep did you go?
When I get through the rock, I'll tell you what's underneath it. But
you can stop. There's nothing there.
I'm just in your kitchen with my Indiana Jones cosplay whip.
Every time you break through to a new layer, you're like, this is it. You cue up the Indiana Jones theme tune.
So yeah, who knows? I would encourage all of our listeners to just explore more. Explore more of the world. Let's go out and find some caves. Not just because the commune is at capacity, and we would really appreciate some sort of cave-like system where we can kind of, very similar to cicadas, just bury ourselves away in the dirt, only emerging to each other.
And we would also encourage people just leaving to explore, just leaving, just reducing the number of people in the commune.
Well, it's kind of tough because we have like a locked door policy.
Right.
We have one of those like revolving doors, but the velocity in which it spins is almost deadly. Mm-hmm. You can't leave. You'd be blended, frankly, if you tried to escape. So we'll try and get that thing slowed down. But in the meantime, if everyone could just chill for a little bit, that would really do me some favors. So we've kind of reached the end of our episode today into the Mooncave, the Slovakian Mooncave. Kit, I not only provided you with some physical evidence, the diary entries and illustrations themselves, but also some possible conclusions as to what this cave could possibly be. What are your thoughts on this case?
It's a super tricky one, Rory, because we have a good witness here. A man of valor, a man who risked his life for his country on the battlefield. This isn't some, drunken hick who stumbled upon some kind of UFO relic, and we just cannot trust their judgment. This guy has nothing left to lose. He almost lost his life out there.
Yeah.
And yet he is saying he's come back from the brink of death with evidence of some kind of seemingly alien technology. At the same time, whilst we have his drawings of what this cave looked like, what he found inside, am I right in saying no one has rediscovered this cave?
You are right in saying that. Directly after this war, I believe the political climate of the area was still very tense and considered quite dangerous, not to mention exploring this wilderness itself. In the diary entries, even though the descriptions of what was inside the cave are quite specific, as you saw, the actual location itself was very vague. He did say it was in between a couple of places and mentioned some maybe geological factors as to how you would locate it. But even with adventurers in the last, 50 years going out and hunting for it, no one has managed to rediscover the cave, which is interesting because he mentioned in the diary entries that when he left, he covered the entrance to the strange chamber that he discovered, but it sounds like the cave itself is still pretty much up for grabs.
Yeah.
It's lighting up the night.
Which poses a quandary, because you would hope that because he lived to tell the tale, indeed 20 years later wrote about the story in an article, that he would have been the guy, if there was anyone to do it, to go and prove its existence by leading a mission back there, which did not happen.
I think he moved to America in the later years of his life.
Right.
Which is maybe where he got in touch with Dr. J. Allen Hynek.
That makes sense.
So I think he was pretty much, I ain't going back there. I've seen all I've seen. I've done my doodles. You guys can go try and find it if you want.
Which is interesting that he alerted, the guys behind Project Blue Book, because it does leave open a small possibility that maybe we ain't heard of any more investigations because they looked into it and never told anyone.
That's what you gotta ask. Is there a reason why we haven't had more people out looking for this cave? Maybe it's because they did find it, Kit, and they don't want us to know anything about it.
And they've been reverse engineering the technology from that cave for decades. Where do you think hair dryers came from? Where do you think
cave?
Where do you think Hoovers come from?
The cave.
It's mostly air blowing technologies.
Yeah.
The miniature fan that you use in summer on the train.
The cave. Roombas. They came from the cave.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
They ruled the cave. They were the gods of the cave.
If you peel back the stickers on a Roomba, there's actually some ancient hieroglyphics written in there. That's how they work. I think it's an interesting case because, as you said, this isn't your typical kind of tipsy redneck out in the middle of heck knows where. This is someone who was fighting the Nazis. They have nothing to lose, but they also have nothing to gain. Surviving a battle like this after the war, you are a hero. You are decorated. There is no reason, really, why you'd need to also say, by the way, after the war, I found a spaceship in a cave.
Putting the medal around his neck.
Yeah, he thinks that he's here to give a speech. It's like, we just want you to take the medal. And he's like, you'd actually be pretty interested to know that after the war...
Listen, I can take this medal back.
Somebody get him off. I actually was in a cave for a couple days drinking cave water.
He's making the army look bad. No one's going to want to join the army.
And in that cave, I came across something you're all going to want to know about. It begins with a U and ends in a foe.
That's quite enough. They shoot him with a laser blaster.
Take him to the cave. You said that into the mic. Someone blasts him.
None of you saw that.
Take them all to the cave. Starts blasting the crowd.
Dual wielding laser blaster.
A cave bear comes out. Dual laser guns. Pew, pew. Yeah, he has nothing to gain from this. He also has nothing to lose from this. It's a very strange situation to be in. Why anyone would go on the record and possibly sully their reputation as a hero with coming out with such a strange claim. It's my understanding that aside from this article he wrote, he didn't really pursue it in any other form. No books, no TV shows. Obviously, it was a bit early for that kind of stuff. But, no real personal interest in why this story would succeed or not, which is always great. But it's time. It's time, Kit. We got to go into the caves. The cave of conclusions. And grab something in the darkness and drag it out to the light. What are you thinking today, Kit?
That's right, Rory. We are posed with a quandary. We have a trustworthy witness. We have written evidence from the time of the sighting of this cave. And yet we are left with any other second opinion on this, anything else that might back it up, anyone else that might have stumbled upon it, anyone else that might have looked into this, other than Project Blue Book, which is certainly up for debate in a future episode. But it unfortunately doesn't leave us with, I believe, enough physical evidence to say that this cave is first even real, or second full of alien technology. And for that reason, for me today, it's got to be a no.
That makes sense. That is fair. Yeah, a case like this is where we really need a little bit more physical evidence. Horak himself seems to be the only one of the soldiers that ventured deeper into the caves. As we said, his experiences could be a little bit questionable due to the state that he was in. Mm-hmm. If I had recently been shot and was stumbling around a dark cave with maybe just a little torch, even if the walls were wet and the light was shining off them, it would look pretty cool. There's, especially in, I don't remember how long it was later that he wrote that article, but that's a lot of time for your memory to kind of play up the experience that you had, for sure. I think, unfortunately, this week for me, it's also going to be a no. This case did bring up a lot of similarities between one of our super old cases that I loved, which was Neil Armstrong going on the hunt for the metal library.
It's one of the best. You got to go back and listen if you haven't heard that one.
One of the best, maybe in terms of content, not necessarily mic quality. I don't know how old that episode was, but it's pretty much one of the originals.
It's episode 3. It's
no,
3
it's
or 4.
not. No way.
It's something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But it was a great episode. I think it actually might have been a double yes, because the evidence that was supplied along with that case was so convincing that without even having a picture or the coordinates to the cave itself, we were pretty confident that at least something weird was out there. And it was a double yes. Unfortunately, with this case, the opposite is true. There's just not enough, I think, for me to put my reputation on the line as a paranormal investigator and say that this cave does exist. But what a case. If it does...
What a cave.
What a cave. I encourage all of our listeners to just book a random flight to Slovakia and just start digging.
Right.
Even if it's in the airport. Some of you will start in the airport. Some of you will make it outside. I want like a...
We could get a couple people at my house. And Rory's made a start, but I really think he might be onto something here.
I really think so. I saw a shimmer when I put a little hit in the floor.
That was actually the metal from the sink, but there might be more.
There could be more. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of This Paranormal Life. If you love the show and you want to show your support, there's a very easy way that you can do it. First off, why not head over to iTunes, or I guess it's not iTunes, it's like the Apple Podcasts.
Apple
app,
Podcasts.
Whatever it is, y'all know what it is. And drop a little 5-star review. No less. We insist it's 5 stars. Any less and
just keep walking.
Keep walking, buddy. That's a very easy and free way to support the show, is a nice review, which we really do appreciate, and makes us look good. And if you want a little extra and want to see even more of the podcast, why don't you head over to Gee, I never remember what our YouTube channel is called.
YouTube.com/This Paranormal Life.
Life, where you can check out the hottest clips from every episode of the week. You get to see our beautiful faces. And it's just like a great way to catch up on some of the highlights of the episodes that we upload. And finally, of course, last but not least, if you want your Willy Wonka style golden ticket to get into the paranormal commune, this is a place where the biggest and hottest and sexiest minds all get together to just hang out, share an egg, and just, sing songs around the campfire.
It's like if all the members of Mensa took acid and went to Burning Man.
That is a great description.
Geniuses getting wasted.
What is a better way to get people involved than that? If you are a genius who listens to this podcast and wants to get wasted with us, you can join the paranormal commune over.
You got a few brain cells to burn.
We're not actually that picky. If you're dumb as all hell,
you'll probably fit in a lot quicker.
You can head over to patreon.com/This Paranormal Life. We don't run any ads on this show. The only way that we get financial support and keep this train chugging is from the direct support from you guys, our listeners. But you also get a lot of cool stuff back with that support. For just a few bucks a month, you can get access to a whole backlog of paranormal bonus episodes just released inside the paranormal commune. You can also get your very own paranormal commune uniform. It is compulsory to wear these when you're on the inside, just to keep the playing field leveled. We all wear the same thing. There's no hierarchy. Yes.
Right, except for us.
The robes. We have the golden robes and the crown as well. But that is just, I barely even wear the thing. It's borderline.
It's honestly ceremony, but
it's base. And yes, ceremonies happen.
Most days.
9 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Tax day is a ceremony, and that's nigh on every day. So
yeah, and then we have the bi-weekly egg festival, where everyone sometimes gets an egg. We haven't been able to fulfill those promises recently because there's been a bit of a shortage. Look, a lot of people have been pointing out that as soon as the eggs went away, the crowns appeared. But we would like to tell people, for the record, we did not sell all the eggs for the crown.
No. The rumor goes that we wanted a whole bunch of new chickens to lay a whole bunch of eggs.
Yeah.
And then the rumor goes that we were scammed and these were male chickens. Roosters, in fact.
Yeah, is the technical
So
term.
they just woke everyone up at, the rumor goes, at the crack of dawn and produced no eggs.
Yeah.
It's just a rumor.
It's just a rumor. And we actually wanted people to start waking up at 6 a.m. every day. I think everyone's a little more chirpier for it, which is great. So as you can tell, everyone's having a great time at the Paranormal Commune. You're going to love it. Come ahead and join in on the fun. If you do want to get involved, what we have is a special little clip from one of our monthly bonus episodes, just to give you a little taste of what you can get if you come on over to patreon.com. So enjoy.
So I do have one story on this topic.
Okay.
I haven't spent a lot of time in laboratories.
Okay.
But at school, I did biology, and we, in A-level, studied how genetics works in insects in particular. And it was pretty fascinating. We went outside one day, we collected a bunch of flies, we brought them inside.
How?
In a jar or something. It's pretty nuts. The reason you use flies is because they reproduce so fast. We put them in a little kind of glass box, and basically they'll kind of hang out and breed with each other. So you come back like
you watched flies each other?
I didn't say that. I said we set up a camera, and sure, we made it premium on Pornhub, granted, and we made a few bucks out of the whole thing. But basically, a week later, we were able to see that the new flies exhibited the traits of both pairs of flies. Basically, you had, the male flies that had these long bodies, and then the female flies maybe had these like short legs, and then you had babies that had the long bodies and the short legs.
That's crazy.
So you were able to see genetics happening right in front of your eyes within a week or so. Pretty fascinating. So we took down these final results, stoked with our findings. Basically, we had been studying these flies by, I think we pumped in like a little kind of this gas that stunned them. We would put them under the microscope and look at their characteristics and then put them back in the box. They would wake up. So we'd got all the results we needed. Our coursework was looking great. And I said to my teacher, what do we do with them? Do we take them back outside to where we found them? And he was like, literally spinning his glasses. He was like, I suppose just gas them into the next life.
You shouldn't say it like that.
Yeah.
Gas them into the next life?
Yeah.
That's disturbing.
So it's not a million miles away from a panic kill.
Panic killing goes all the way back to GCSE level science.
Yeah.
That almost seems like more effort to gas a fly to death
We
than
got
open
them
a window.
literally outside the building. Like, it would have taken 2 seconds to not murder them.
Also seems weird to kind of like make such a point of the beautiful biological miracle, which is the mixing of genes of even two insects that seem so minuscule in this world.
That shows the reproductive system that fuels us, that fuels all biological life.
He grabs a hammer. Yeah! Now, as you can see, the fly's blood also shares similarities between the two parents.
He starts smearing it on his face. I love the smell of blood in the morning.
Now go out, children, and find me meerkats. Meerkats to breed. Absolutely not. Stop gassing meerkats. That's wild. Yeah, I always thought, because it's not a huge thing over here in the UK, but like dissecting frogs and stuff is a big thing, in like, or at least it is in pop culture in American high schools.
Definitely huge in America. I think it does happen here. I seem to remember
I don't want to dissect a frog.
I seem to remember we were scheduled to do it in school, and I think something came up that we missed that lesson, but I think they do it.
They're like, sorry, we have to cancel it. Someone gassed all the frogs.
Teacher, man.
I don't know what happened.
He was about to pull the trigger. They're like, all these frogs are gonna die. They're going to be cut open. He's like, not soon enough.
Oh man, what a great, that was actually a really good bonus episode.
That's a doozy.
I love that one. If you did enjoy that clip and you want to get involved, all of the links for everything that we've talked about are in the description of this podcast right now. You can just kind of unlock your phone, check it out, click one of those links, and it'll take you right there. And if you do support us on Patreon, what we like to do is give you a little special sneaky shout out at the end of the podcast. So, thank you to
Jonelle Tallow. Jonelle. I'm begging of you, please don't take my egg.
Oh,
I had to work very hard for that egg, Jonelle. And it's my ticket out of this place, to be honest, because the only way anyone's getting through those revolving doors is if they pay the egg tax. Thank you to Daniel Cassidy.
Daniel Cassidy always cheated in classity.
Ooh.
Yeah, always like cheating tests. Even in subjects you can't even cheat, like art. He was trying to like bring in paintings that he just bought in a store. They're like, you can't, we know this isn't you. It's signed by another artist. You can't cheat art.
Also, is this a priceless Van Gogh? I mean,
How did you get this?
You cheated the local museum also? Thank you to Jessica Huss.
Jessica Huss doesn't want no fuss. Even when she does something cool. I think the other week she like stopped a bank robbery.
Right.
That was going on. She just entered the bank, knocked out the robber, walked away, and she's like, "Hey, no fuss." So I'm just doing my. Anyone would have done it.
The newspaper, the Papa Journos, they were like, "Hey, can we get your photo for the front of the paper?"
No, absolutely not. No fuss. I wasn't even
You're
here.
truly a hero, Jessica. Thank you to Thomas. Thomas is all about the fuss. I'll be honest, Thomas, you haven't done a lot to have the commendation and have the celebration, but he wants all the accolades and the fuss.
He's the dude that, does that flick with a water bottle where it spins and lands back on the table, and he's like, "Hey, boys, did you see that?
Yeah, man.
It's like, yeah, we
can
all
all
saw
do
it, man.
We can all
It
do
was pretty crazy. He loves the fuss.
Thank you to Colton Adrian.
They call him Molten Colton, because he's hot like lava, baby.
Jesus.
Hot to touch, hot to love, hot to even just be around. He's like the friggin' sun.
It's like a pretty intense guy.
He's real
if
intense.
I want to be around him.
Is
actually.
lava intense? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
So Molten Colton's actually pretty wild.
Jesus.
I wouldn't invite him into the house.
Yeah, it sounds like.
He just melted through the door.
What?
Oh, yeah. You can't stop the lava, baby.
He's just lava, man.
That's his catchphrase.
Thank you also to Karine Belair. Karine is the fresh queen of Bel Air. And she rules Bel Air with an iron fist.
Ooh.
It's a weird thing where, you know, the rest of the country is run like a democracy and is run by mayors and presidents and whatever. But the Bel Air area is run by a queen. And she has peasants and she is brutal to them.
A lot like the Paranormal Commune, I'm hearing.
You have any tips for being a brutal ruler? Karine, please send them through. Thank you also to Cameron Shaw.
Cameron Shaw is quick on the draw. Sketching, that is.
Oh.
Drawing. Yeah. Like, very fast. Pencil out, and can sketch you like a flower. Or, yeah. Sketching a flower.
He turns
like
around the easel to you, and it's just a bullet hole in a canvas. That's not a drawing, Cameron. Thank you to Andrew Riley.
Andrew, I Riley appreciate all the support you've given us on Patreon. I really do.
That's nice of you to say.
Getting a little Australian there. But really, I do mean it. Everything that you've given
now
us
you're
before.
Just trying to do the accent.
I really do appreciate it, mate. Everyone knows how great our Australian accent is, so I just felt I needed to bring it back.
People often
Riley
wonder
knows.
if we're actually from Melbourne. But,
Yeah.
No, we're just, I don't know, it just comes to us. It just comes to us, mate.
Cheers, Riley.
Thank you to Naomi. Naomi owes me a pony. Because I had a precious pony that Naomi said she would borrow for just 5 minutes, she said. Just 5 minutes. I'm literally just gotta run an errand, gotta go to the post office. I said, if it's so close, why do you need the pony? She said, trust me, bro.
She did have at the time all of her worldly possessions in a bag as well.
I thought she was gonna post them first class.
Sure. Strange though. I mean, there wasn't a post office.
She did have multiple days supplies and writing equipment. Sure.
Yeah. There wasn't a post office anywhere close either.
No,
So.
we're in the middle of the countryside.
Why do you have a pony?
I was born on a pony farm.
I did not know that about
They
you.
thought I was a pony.
Okay, that makes
for
a
the
lot more
first couple
sense.
years of life, because I came out of the womb neighing and kind of
Begging for hay.
took the words out of my snout.
I told Naomi, yes, you may borrow my sister for a short ride.
So you are related to a pony. She didn't bring the pony back.
Cruel, but fair.
Thank you to Jordan.
Jordan, you have been awarded King of the Commune Egg Festival, which sounds like a very generous, incredible title to be given. It is, in fact, you now who is in charge of wrangling the loose lizards and squeezing eggs from their buttholes. I don't understand where an egg comes from.
But I'm told by the previous wardens of the eggs, yes.
Wardens of the egg, the ancient the ancient order of the Paranormal Commune.
Warden Jordan, the warden of the egg. Warden Jordan, you will be hoarding the eggs. Thank you to Susie Flatch.
Boozy Susie, a legend in the Paranormal Commune for making the most delicious alcoholic eggnog you've ever had in your life. These days, the ingredients are mostly nog,
Just
the
nog.
egg, for no reason in particular. So it's pretty much rum in a cup
Right.
with a bit of eggshell.
Jesus.
It's a crunchy delight. It really is. I insist you try some.
The only egg bit about it is you drink it out of a used eggshell. Thank you to Oscar Romo.
Oscar, Romo. He doesn't know what love is, but he knows a good podcast when he hears one.
Honestly, that's a better characteristic to have than knowing what love is.
Yeah, love is overrated, but a good podcast is there every week. We don't let you down. Maybe we did once. We're sometimes a little late, but we always show up. So don't worry, Romo.
Thank you to Megan Holtrop. Megan Holtrop is short for Megan Holotropic Breathing. That's right, Megan is a master of this obscure ancient breathing practice.
Ooh.
That by lying in your bed and hyperventilating for 2 to 3 hours, you can travel to some kind of astral plane.
Wow. 2 to 3 hours? That's quite. Is there like a fast pass for the astral plane? Like a Disney style like premium ticket?
For that, you will need to talk to Megan's brother Keith,
who
has mastered the ancient art of
banging your head on the coffee table.
That's right. Actually, you joke, but that's what it is. He knocks you out, and you go to the astral plane
in about 2 seconds. Yeah. It's pretty fast.
Thank you to David Drillingcourt.
David brought a drill to court. It wasn't relative to the case. It had nothing to do with why.
Borderline a weapon.
It is a weapon. He certainly tried to use it as one.
He begged and pleaded, said it's not a weapon. I'm a handyman by trade.
It was a bad idea.
Thank you also to Anya Moest.
Anya, out of everyone we've mentioned today, I love you the most.
Any reason?
They're just the most grateful for the show every week. They're the most supportive and the most... I'm getting further away from it every time I say it. Moist loving.
Well, that actually makes it.
They also give the moist money.
Okay, that's
a big part of the love.
That's a bit more believable.
Yeah.
Thank you to Ray Garza.
Ray Garza from Agartha. That's right. With a name like that, I know that you're a freaking 20-foot tall, 400-year-old human from the ancient hollow earth itself. Brother, where's the tunnel? I've been looking for a long time here. I'd really appreciate a little heads up. Even if it's just like, tell me what tube stop to get off at.
If it gets in London?
Well, it's a good start. If it's in China, I'll probably get off at Cockfosters or one of the ones way out there.
I don't
Stratford.
think that's a good start. Stratford? You really
Maybe.
think?
If it's...
I think you need to add on
East.
about, 8,000 miles?
Because actually if I want to go to... If it is in China, I probably actually want to go to Heathrow, which is actually out west, because I can get to Heathrow Airport. So even though Stratford is the right direction, it's pretty wrong, because I don't think London City Airport flies to freaking China. Alright, so I bet we're talking a lot of local London transport here, but...
You stop talking, you look around, and everyone else in London has already got into Agartha and shut the doors.
What?
You were the last person.
I'm on Oxford Street. What?
Thank you to Thomas Asbeck.
Thomas, we don't need you to be Thomas the Tank Engine. We need you to be Thomas the Blank Checkson. We're in the hole, Thomas, for a pretty large amount. And we need to write a check that you can't cash. That's how much money we need. Now that I say it, then there would actually be no point in receiving the check for you if you're not good for the cash. So we might have a little bit of a problem here. We're going to need you to actually take out a very high interest loan, Thomas. That'll actually be better for us. So we appreciate...
Why high interest? How could that possibly help?
Because those are the juiciest carp in the ocean. Yeah, it's high interest because we're asking...
Also, between you and me, we don't plan on paying it back. So the interest rate is a bit pointless.
Whatever can get Thomas thrown in the slammer fast enough.
Thomas, I hope you didn't hear any of that. Thank you to Natalie Hampshire.
Natalie Hampshire is a straight up hamster. I don't know how she got the pod. I don't know how she's listening. An AirPod is like the size of a hamster's brain.
She thought an AirPod was an acorn. She stuffed it in her little pouch, and she just hears the podcast on accident now.
Wow. Great to have your support. Please spread the good word through the hamster community.
Thank you to Daniel Shepherd. Daniel Shepherd, you will be the shepherd to the wardens of the eggs. When the wardens of the eggs get out of line, you need to shepherd them into order.
Yeah, that would be great.
Of course, you will be overlooked by the drill sergeant of the shepherds of the wardens of the eggs.
Yeah.
So watch out for that.
Again, there is no hierarchy in the commune.
Thank you lastly but not leastly to Joanna Williams. Joanna Williams wants a man with billions. You've come to categorically the wrong place, Joanna, because everyone here at the commune had to surrender their worldly wealth at the door.
That is true. Yeah, but I will say, Joanna, that, look, there is a high possibility that I have a pretty high interest loan coming through in the next couple days. If you stick around, that billion might just show up. So, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Thank you to everyone that we shouted out. We really appreciate the support on Patreon. It's the only way that this show can get any money at all, so we really do appreciate it. If you want to check out how you can get involved, the links are all in the description of this podcast right now. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of This Paranormal Life. Remember, everyone in the commune, that in life, you gotta live fast, you gotta investigate, and you gotta die young, motherfuckers. Sorry, that was a pretty aggressive outro, actually. But thank you.